How's it going, everybody? My name is Jessica, and I'm the principal QA on the World vs. World team. Today, the team is going to be playing on a European shard to share some WvW with our neighbors. And I have Hugh Norfolk with me, and he's going to be distracting me and asking me all sorts of questions about what it's like to be a QA on World vs. World.
Also, I'm going to be going over pretty much just while we're playing and just having some fun on live. We're also just going to be going over, what the job of being a designer on the World v World team is, as well as being QA. Also, kind of introducing the rest of the team. That's kind of slowly trickling in here. They had a couple people that are stuck in queue because we are playing primetime in EU. So right now we have Chris, one of our programmers, on here. We have Jesse, who's one of our map artists. Who else we got running around in here?
We have Patrick Mara.
The old Mara bomb.
Captain Culling.
Captain Culling himself, the guy who helped fix Culling. A couple other people are just kind of getting here.
Devin Carver.
The old Devin Carver, coordinator of World v World team, as well as I know Zach, one of the other programmers on our team.
Yep.
Who else we got?
I think we'll probably have Jordan as well.
Another
there
programmer.
he is.
Another programmer also jumping in here. A lot of programmers, a lot of programming support now. But yeah, I think it's time to get started. Why don't we go ahead and hit the M, and let's see what the map looks like, and let's get ready to roll. So what color are we? We are green. So it looks like blue has our home tower as well as their home tower. Scroll up a little bit further. It looks like we have bay, and they have hills. Looks like blue also has the North Keep as well. So blue's kind of got a pretty good force going around this map. If we scroll out a little bit further, we can see that red does have the top supply camp, as well as the side supply camps in the north, as well as the top two towers. So I think we should at least probably start by getting our tower back first, and then moving around. We do see the commander right there.
Oh, it looks like they just flipped it.
Looks like they're going for the ore buff, as well as we see a couple orange swords there on the right-hand side, which means there's big fights going on in hill. So this is probably the perfect time for us to go hit our keep, and probably go up the left side and maybe see if we can get some of the red stuff on the way there. So I say we go for the tower right in front of us. We got some siege with us?
Yep. I have
siege.
some.
How about supply? It looks like you're running.
Oh, I don't have any supply.
You don't have any supply? So why don't we go make a quick supply run over there to the left, and then we'll go from there.
Let me let our party know what our plan is.
Yep, let's go get that supply, because we do have the supply camp over there to the left. So we're going to run over there, hopefully kill any blue guys or red guys along the way, and get some supplies so we can get our tower back. I think that's probably the best thing. So we were going to try to do some small group stuff, but, with having all the ANET devs on our EU shard, they haven't really seen any of us, so they're going to probably follow us around and create a little mini Zerg, if not a full-fledged Zerg. So, we'll just kind of go, we'll feel it out and see what we got. But, and going with a theme, so Jessica's our principal QA on the World v World team. So, you've been there for how long, Jessica? How long have you been principal QA for?
About half a year.
About half a year. That's a pretty long time. She actually was the QA.
It's empty.
Oh, they jacked all the supply from you.
Yep.
That's fine. We probably have enough to go get the tower now. It will only take about 2 rams and a little bit of time. The only real reason to have any more supply than probably what we have now is for speed, right? Like if you want to put down 3 or 4 rams, you're gonna need more supply, but 2 rams is more than enough. Jessica throws on her food buff. Let's go get that tower. Oh boy, we got the whole Zerg with us now. So we're gonna have some fun. Maybe we can get a keep on. Get a keep. So about 6 months you were on the World v World team. Before that, I was actually the principal QA and the embedded QA. So I helped train Jessica up and get her ready for the task at hand. But now that you're on there and you've been doing it for a while, but when you first came to the team from QA up into being the principal QA, what was the expectation? What was it like to come on the team like World v World for the first time?
Well, being like an embedded tester on a team is very much different than being a general QA tester. I focus primarily on World vs. World content. I'm responsible for monitoring forums, live bug reports, exploits. We have a group of dedicated players that provide us with feedback, and I coordinate with them. I attend design meetings, which is really awesome. I create test plans for our content and schedule resources to make sure we get things like performance evaluation, things like that. It's a lot of responsibility, but it's a lot of fun.
Cool. So let's hit M, because looks like we got this tower back. Let's go ahead and see where else we're going. Looks like our Zerg's going over there. We do have Dreaming Bay, so I think we should either...
take Blue Lake.
You want to go take Blue? We can take Blue Lake?
But...
It's true, and you see the orange sword is up there, so it looks like red team's assaulting hills, so they're probably got a lot of resources up there, so I think this is a good time for us to snag Blue Lake. So let's go Blue Lake.
Oh.
Hitting enter before typing this.
Pro tip.
Pro tip. So Kemla, you expecting this? You had a. I mean, honestly, you know, Jessica does a really great job. When I was on the WvW team, I mean, I did a pretty good job, but Jessica actually does probably a much better job than I did.
That's nice of you to say.
She helps. You know, she actually took a much bigger task on when I was on the team. It was mostly live maintenance and, you know, just adding some functions or some functionality and some actual. You know, things to WvW World. But when Jessica's on the team, we had all those things live, and we had multiple people working on a lot of different things. So it was a lot of responsibility all at once for a single person to take on. So that was she did a really good job.
Maybe I shouldn't chase this guy.
No, I don't think so. I think you should probably go for that.
All right.
You should go for that tower. But let's see. So let's say you were that, and I went to being a designer for WvW World. So being a designer, I interact with Jessica, you know, a lot, especially, you know, being on the team. It's very interesting going from being QA to design because, you know, you go and the biggest thing when you're QA is you want to break the content, right? You want to go in there, I want to figure out what's...
Oh, he got mad that I was chasing him.
He's like, oh, no way I'm going to let her get away. Oh, man. He made a huge mistake. But that tree was a great blocker for him. It was real solid. He's probably pretty good against all these people. I'll give it to him. Pretty beast. Invulnerability now. He's gonna go run. But no one kills the. Oh, wait. Wait. Got him. Bodied. You know, like 17 people stomp him. Because why? Oh, 41 WvW experience, though. He's been around for a while. Loot that bag.
Oh, I got it.
You got that bag. All right. But, you know, being a designer is much different than being a QA, as well as, you know, one of the big challenges was, you know, being able to actually create content instead of just testing content. But it's obviously it's a lot of fun to be able to go and create the content as well as being able to keep up with live. Right, that was one of the big things was when you're working on WvW World, it wasn't just creating content; it was also monitoring live. And that's where Jessica really helped me because. She would go through and she'd look at all the forum feedback and all the bugs and stuff like that, which I actually didn't have time to do anymore. So Jessica and I worked really hand in hand with a lot of that kind of stuff. So, yeah. So right now we're destroying this tower. We got one ram up. Looks like we're going to get some supply right now to get this other ram up. The gate's at 50%. So we're looking at probably about 2 minutes to probably get in here, 2.5 minutes. We do have white swords on the tower, so blue team does know we're here. Looks like one of our commanders over at the supply camp there at the bottom right, so it looks like they're also putting some pressure there. So once we get in here, our probably next plan of attack, because red is also hitting hills, we might even be able to take hills. Now hills is one of the hardest keeps to take.
It is.
It is, because it's just the way the terrain is.
Yep.
Having the height advantage and being able to put like arrow cards in certain spots that are really strong for when you're trying to assault. It's one of the better places to actually, one of the most defensible keeps and objectives in WvW World. So keeping that is actually really easy, but taking it's really tough. So maybe we can get lucky. We've got a pretty sizable force with us. But all right, so now we kind of go over just the basic stuff of being, you know, QA and a little bit on designer. What is one of your favorite bugs that you found in content that hasn't gone live? So you found it before, you know. Before it actually got to live, like some of my awesome bugs that I create, being a new designer.
It's difficult to pick one.
I mean, that's not what I want. She didn't mean that. She didn't mean that. She's not saying there's a lot of. You better be quick. Be quick.
Quick with my answer, or quick with
both. Choose wisely. Choose wisely, because you only get one.
So an advantage of being like an embedded tester is I get to experience the content before everybody else, and I'm really passionate about World versus World, so it is very exciting to get to see what we're developing. And Lord,
no.
We just
well, this is where you run. This is the time where you're like, well, team, it was really nice seeing you. Oh no.
Yep.
So this is you.
Well, I'll take advantage of this time to.
Yeah, this was just you. You know, wanted to answer this question more thoroughly. taken some time to
Sure.
really ponder, because there's really no bugs. I really create none. There's absolutely zero. So I know it's going to take you a while to really pick one out of the
So
few.
I don't think I could pick one, but I would say that it's very rewarding for every single bug that I can catch in the content we're going to release. And working closely with developers, it's a really nice and rewarding relationship to work with them as they're, you know, thinking up the content when it's in its concept phase, working with them when they're implementing the content, thinking of, you know, potential exploits in the content. Just being that involved is, it's very rewarding. And I can't really, I mean, on the spot, I'm not sure I could pick out a single bug that was my favorite. But that's not to say that there aren't bugs.
All lies.
It's just, it's a really cool process to see the content come together, and find possible exploits and edge cases with it. And you know, the more we can catch those before they go live, obviously the better. So I would say every bug that I find that doesn't ship is my favorite.
That's really cute. No, but I agree. I think that one of the advantages of being, you know, embedded QA especially is the fact that you get to see the iteration process, right?
Definitely.
Like that was one of my favorite things when I was in QA was, you know, I get to see the most gross bugs when you're going through, or even, you know, horrible iterations of certain things. Like, you know, I was messing around, you know, just messing around when I was making Catapult Mastery, and I was like, you know, it'd be really cool if I made the rocks instead of 5, like, you know, 30. Why not? That'd be a really cool upgrade, right?
Yeah.
And then Jessica was like, you know, I don't think that's, I mean, it's cool. It's definitely cool. And I was like, that's all I needed to hear. I changed a couple numbers, and I felt really boss. But then Jessica then looked at me and was like, why don't we test some perf with this? And I was like, okay. So we had, like, you know, a bunch of us got in there and we shot, like, you know, 5 catapults, and then the frame went down. I was like, okay, well, that didn't work out so well. So being able to see that and give feedback along the way is super. It's a lot of fun, right?
It's super.
It's definitely super.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun, especially for me, because, you know, I get to just make Jessica's day so good sometimes. So good. I'm like, Jessica, listen, I'm gonna, or even better. I think even better, the best one is when I'm iterating something and I have a really cool idea, and it's the first time. And I always look at Jessica, I'm like, all right, Jessica, watch this. This is gonna be really cool. And I hit the button, and then nothing happens, and then Jessica just pats me on the shoulder and is like, all right, that was really nice. That was really.
I enjoy those times.
And then, you know, for the next hour, I just keep telling Jessica, this is the one, Jessica. This is the one where it's going to be, and it never is. Until, like, the next day when I finally actually test it myself and go through and look at it, and then I actually say, all right, Jessica, now this is the best. This is the best. But I think it was something that I can touch on now that, you know, being in design and not being a QA anymore. I think one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is how much actually goes into just content, right? Actual creating content. So I think a really easy way to do it is just break down, like, the actual path that we take when creating content and where the QA fits in this, right? So I'm a designer. I'm like, you know what? I want to build Randmaster, right? I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and do Randmaster. Randmaster is one of my favorites. It was one of the ones that was, you know, the content that was, I think, it's most recent that went out, and it's. I really enjoyed creating that because I got a lot of feedback from both Jessica and the rest of the team, as well as a couple old-timey favorites that used to work on WvW. Good old Matt Witter came by and actually gave me some really good feedback. You know, just he came in, just talked to him for a couple minutes, and he gave me some really good feedback. So I was like, you know what? I really want to make Grandmaster. What's the first thing we do? The first thing we do is I you know, create a little page, kind of jot some ideas down, and then I go, okay, let's make a meeting. I invite Jessica, I invite, you know, Devin, I invite all the, you know, the big wigs of WvW. Get the whole team in there if I can, because a lot of times people are busy, but try to do my best to get as many people as I can in there. And then we have a meeting, and we go over what would be really cool, you know, and then I go and I say, well, okay, I really want this to happen, but I don't have access to this, so I need to get some programmers to help me out. I want some new effects, so I need to call, you know, after I get done with this meeting, I go out and I start looking at all the things I need, right? So I go, okay, I need a new effect. I need a new animation state.
Oh boy.
I need a lot.
Underwater combat.
All right, now when he's down, this is when you just hit him with the 1 skills. You just make him cherish being underwater.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of people coming down here. So I think after this we should probably reevaluate where we're going, because it seems like these people will just follow us to the ends of the earth, to underwater. Doesn't matter where. I'm
thinking we should check out the new capture points.
Okay, let's check it out. We've got a lot of people here, so it should be fairly easy for us to get that buff. How many buffs do we have right now? We got, looks like, I don't know, let me see.
Wow. Actually, we have all 3.
We have all 3. There we go. So let's go ahead. I think we should just push up the left side and then go up that way and see if we can maybe get a tower or whatnot up there, because it seems like the south side seems to be very
all right,
guarded.
But first this guy needs to be punished.
I think so. I mean, he looks like he needs to be punished. That was nice. But so then I go and I look at all the assets I need and I make requests for all the any type of animation or any type of anything I need externally that I can't do as a designer. And then I go, okay, let me start implementing. And that's usually why I go, Jessica, this is the stuff we have, any exploits or anything you can think of that'll, maybe break the world, do anything of that nature. Kind of like Ironhide getting stuck on it. But yeah, beyond the point, totally beyond the point.
That was a fun bug.
That was another fun bug. But so then we go ahead and I start implementing on that thing, and I create it, and then we tweak numbers. And we never really think that anything that goes out, the first time is ever correct, right? We gotta tweak it. We gotta play with it. We have like our dedicated, player base that comes in and gives us feedback, as well as jumps in there a little early and plays with it and tells us if it feels good or feels bad.
Yeah.
So Jessica helps out with that, and then I actually implement it. She gives me feedback. She tests it to make sure there's no outstanding crazy issues, and then we sit on it for a little bit and let everyone on the team, let some external bigwigs look at it, make sure they feel okay with it.
Necessary reviews and what have you.
All the the red tape you got to go through to make sure something goes out and it goes out well. Because the last thing you want is just push out something that's really, really terrible. It's something that not everyone gets a chance to look at.
Oh no.
That was a hole.
Yep.
It was a bridge to get over. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Just gonna walk around it. You're just showing this off.
Yeah. This is beautiful.
Let's look at this water. Oh, look at this staircase. Look at that. I mean, you're just showing the side way to go up. I got
That's
you.
right.
I understand. Look at that. You got 22 experience. Totally missed
No
a bag.
big deal.
That's not a big deal. No, not worth it. Not worth it.
All right.
But yeah, so then once it does that, then we have to, we push it through the channels to actually get it on live, and then we have to monitor on live. So not only when we're creating these things, is it done when it goes out, right? We have to monitor it very carefully, especially the day it comes out, for any big exploits, kind of like Ironhide, and fix them immediately whenever that stuff comes, as well as, again, also listening to the community about feedback of these things. If they think it's too strong or it's too weak, then we go from there. But what else? What else is fun that we get to do while we're in QA? What is something you didn't expect when you went to QA on the WvW team?
I didn't expect to be so involved in the design process, which I absolutely love. I love that I get to go to the meetings and volunteer my ideas and express my concerns, and I really genuinely impact the content we release, and it's a really good feeling.
I think it's really important. I think it's maybe different from maybe other studios and other things. I mean,
Definitely.
I've only worked here. I've never really worked in any other studios, but I know, like Jessica, you worked at a couple other studios before. I mean, obviously, I don't want to name too many names or anything like that, but I know that one of the big things is, here I always feel like, when I was in QA, I had a voice. Even though it was QA, it still felt like I had a voice. Maybe not as a designer, but as somebody who was looking for quality, as well as somebody who played the game. Because we play the game, right? I enjoy it. I come in here, I play some PvP. I go and play WvW. I love the PvE content, all the other good stuff. So, being able to bring the voice of a player as well as somebody in QA is, I think, very important to those meetings.
Definitely.
Because when you're a designer, and I think somebody brought this up, and actually I was in a meeting the other day that somebody said this, and it's very true. But sometimes when you create an idea, you're super excited. It's your baby, right? You're like, oh, this is so good. It's never going to have any problems. It's perfect. And then, Jessica comes and rains on my parade. She comes in and brings logic to my baby sometimes. And she'll come in and say, like, Hugh, I think there's issues with this and what. I don't want to believe her. And usually I don't. I do my best to not believe her. But usually she convinces me, otherwise and tells me, Hugh, we need to make sure we look at all the big picture as well as the little picture, because a lot of times that's one of the things that, as a designer, sometimes we miss. Sometimes we look at the small picture or even the big picture, but miss the little picture. So you got to make sure you have all the sides whenever you're creating content, and that's usually what Luckily, I have my ground legs, which is QA. A lot of times they're able to give me that kind of feedback. I mean, not just Jessica, everyone in QA, and the community itself also does that. So
I think that is something about our team that is really awesome, is how much everybody participates and will give feedback about, we have this idea, can it be accomplished? And everyone will chime in and try to see that concept come to fruition.
I think it's always fun especially because our team is we're a little wild, we're a little WvW, and we will definitely, somebody will always come in. Usually, most of the time it was me or Devin or anybody we know. What's a great idea? This, and then immediately or good old John P. Those great ideas. It's just funny because that's usually the way it starts off, right? Like we'll be like, what's a great idea? This, and usually it's not a great idea, but what we do is the team, we think about it and think about what another way to make that a great idea is, and then we act upon it, right? Like one of the big things, like when we were doing RAM Mastery, right? Like when RAM Mastery was first coming out, I had a specific skill to apply structural vulnerability, right? And I was like, and actually, the team got together and was like, that's cool, but you know what? We want like these skills to be on this and this skills. And I was like, oh, you know what? I can maybe apply it to like the 2 skill, the flame blast, and make the flame blast have another purpose, right? Completely repurpose it out and make it instant skill and make it, completely make it feel better as a whole. And it was just one of those things that all of us kind of came together, and Jessica came together and she gave me feedback on it. Our core players came together and gave me feedback and everything like that, and we all kind of decided that was a really cool idea. So I think that's one of the fun things about being on WvW is being able to have a big group of players as well as devs that all can come together and have cool ideas. Let's see, what other things? What's another thing being a QA on WvW? Oh, what's one of the things you do, whenever you have to test something on a large scale, what's one of the ways you go about it? Or actually, because I know you just use, you get a lot of feedback from the core guys, the core players, so maybe that's too easy of a question. How about this? How about when you find an exploit, what's one of the paths you take when you find an exploit on live, or you see something on the forums, what's the path you take usually?
Well, initially I will try to get all the information I can from the posts, see if there's any related posts or additional information elsewhere. Then I'll try to reproduce the issue internally on our servers.
But why is that important?
Well, it's important to have, clear repo steps to A, figure out what might be causing the issue, but B, know, which team, which person is going to be responsible for addressing the issue. So a really frequent exploit that comes up in World vs. World are players bypassing terrain by using shadow step skills or blink skills. This can occur for various reasons, things like nav mesh. Hold on, I can't let this guy get away.
So I don't know if they know what nav mesh is.
Right. So there are all these different elements that could contribute to the existence of an exploit. Oh, is there more?
There's guys above, but I think you should get back to your teams. Who knows how many people are there?
You're right. Oh God.
This is where you hope your team comes.
They're not going to come.
No, they're not. You should probably try to survive.
Nope. I got bodied.
Just hold out for a second. I bet you when people see that you have died, they'll be very angry and come to save you.
So anyway, sorry. What I was saying about that specific type of exploit, I would reproduce it on our internal servers, make sure I have really clear steps to give to. A lot of times I'll pass it on to like our environment artists. They're usually a good place to start to see if there's anything in particular with the terrain that is allowing player skills to bypass things like gates. It's especially tricky since gates and walls can be upgraded, so each time that occurs, the the environment has actually changed. So there's a lot of opportunity for small areas to allow these types of exploits. So it's an ongoing process for us to track it down, and player reports are really great. I'll find it on live sometimes when I'm playing. We actually were playing on live with the team once, and Hugh accidentally discovered one of these exploits where he bypassed a gate, which was fun times when that ended up on the forums and there were screenshots, and he had his ANET tag.
I was super excited when we finally figured out.
I was excited too. I had been trying to reproduce that situation internally for a long time. Oh man, this is just.
It's time to go back to base. It's time to go back to base.
I think so.
So yeah, I think one of the big things there is just the fact that there's a process in which we go through, right? And we always do our best to try and reproduce it in house so we can figure out who actually fixes the bug. Because a lot of misconceptions when there's bugs is that one person fixes everything, right? There's like a mega designer, programmer,
or a bug fixer.
Person. And it's not. So like for instance, we got Patrick, we got Chris, we got Jesse, we got Devin, we got me, and all of us, a couple of us do the same thing. We have designers, but not only that, but we have programmers and map artists and environment artists, all kinds of stuff. And anytime there's a bug, we have to look at exactly who the bug actually goes to. Like if it's content side, so like it's one of the vulnerabilities and whatnot, so that's my stuff, right? Like if it's a balancing issue or anything like that. But if it's like environment, then we have to go to our map artists. If it's some crazy programmy thing that is, maybe it looks like content, maybe it looks like maybe it looks like a map thing, but it's actually programming stuff, that would go to Chris and all the other guys. But yeah, I mean it's very interesting when you're actually inside on the back end and you start looking at stuff and you're like, oh, that's totally my bug, and then I'll looking at them like, it's totally a map artist bug, and I send them the map artist, it's like, it's totally the programmer issue. You go to programmers, like, I have no idea what's going on, and then it comes back to me and it's usually my fault. I just missed it. It's usually what happens.
Yeah.
But all right, what about some other fun things? Some other fun things we get to do on the WvW team. So, how about we go over? Looks like our team. Where's the rest of our? Okay, the rest of our team.
We got some of them with us.
What do we got? Let's see what the map is. See what we're looking on the map, because we got bodied when we got.
Yeah.
So we could try that again, but I feel like they're there. We should try to go to the north side of the map. Let's go to the actual north side. Let's go up there. Yeah, let's go the left side. Yeah, let's go.
We could take this.
Yeah, let's go there. Let's go to the supply camp. Let's start small and work our way up.
Okay.
Let's go that way. Also, guys, if you guys have any questions for us, oh boy, you might want to.
Not run this way.
No, you might not want to run the way.
Oh Lord.
If you guys have any questions for us, if you guys have any thing that you ever wanted to ask a QA guy or a designer, guy or gal, then you should ask now. I mean, right now we have Ruby on, looking at all the chat and stuff like that. So if you guys have any questions or anything like that, any feedback, go ahead and give it to us now while we just play and have some fun. One of the questions right now we just got: do you actually still collect in-game bugs? Yeah, like usually, like when I'm playing, it depends on it depends exactly what I'm doing. If I'm playing like PvP and I'm playing and all of a sudden some guy's like, hey, you want to investigate this issue with me real quick? I'll be like, hey, let me stun lock this guy with my warrior, and then after that I will take a look. But usually when I'm playing WvW, a lot of people like to always ping me and be like, hey, there's this issue, can you look at this for me? And then usually what I'll do is I'll tell them to put it on the forums for me, and the next day when I go into work, either Boettiger will find it for me or I'll look at it, because we take obviously any type of these exploits, especially depending on the severity of it, how much what the priority is of us actually looking at it and getting it fixed as soon as possible. But that's another thing, is not only are we just creating content, but we're also managing live as well, right? So that's one of the big things too that WvW has that some of the other content doesn't. It's like when you have new content that's coming out, they don't actually have to monitor live content.
Right.
But we on the WvW team do both. We not only do brand new content with the level ability lines, with the new Borderlands map, well, not Borderlands map, but the new map changes, I should say. But stuff like that, those are while we're creating that, we're also monitoring live, or we're creating live issues. We're creating live issues as well, but monitoring live issues and fixing them as we go along.
Yep.
That was a pretty big fight. That was pretty nice. So they're trying to take it to our spawn, it looks like.
Yeah, and I'll just say that that's another unique thing, I think, to World versus World, as opposed to some other teams. World versus World is always going on, so, you know, our work here is never done. You know, there's always things that will crop up, always adding new things to the game, but even when we add new things, it's added and then it's there and it continues to exist, so we have to keep monitoring it and keep fielding any bug reports that come up or any exploits that come to our attention. So
I always love when I create, you know, we'll create a new board, you know, we'll create this, the map changes, we'll create, you know, build lines, and then some random bug that's been there for a long time, somebody will finally find it and be like, really? How long has that been there? It's been there for how long? Oh my goodness. You know,
yeah.
And luckily we've gotten really good at it. You know, there's not, I mean, knock on wood, there's not anything super terrible anymore. But you know, there's still things that pop up that make us go, you know, we got to fix that ASAP. We got to fix that as soon as possible.
Right.
So we should.
No.
That's all right. Let's go ahead and slide to the top of this. Let's keep over here and start working our way to the north side. Hopefully, with the help of our keep walls to keep us alive. Keep us alive. All right.
I enjoy how I think all the commanders are just following us.
Oh yeah, of course. Believe me.
Stolen the show.
That's the way we roll. That's the way Love Team rolls. Let's see. What was let's see, what's another good thing I'm gonna ask? But there's a lot of people to the right. A lot of people to the right.
Oh,
a lot of people to the right. This is where you run to the keep and you pray for survival.
Or back to
your team.
Yeah.
So you just let them fall with you. I like that. That's good. Like this one guy is like, I got it. All right. How big? It's a pretty big force. Poor.
Yeah.
Oh man, one of the arena that guys is just running for his life.
Probably a smart move.
Yes. Let's see. We got a pretty sizable force here. I don't know if we can win this fight. Just always remember, if you can't win,
there's no shame in running.
There's no shame. Always remember, you will be the one to tell the tale. Well, maybe you won't be the one to tell the tale, but the other, Chris will be the one to tell the tale. Chris will tell the tale of your epic death in World v. World. You're looking really good right now. I'm not gonna lie. You've died what, like 3 times?
Yep.
We haven't got really any objectives. We're looking really solid. I think we're really helping out. Really helping out.
Live stream's going well. I should probably get out of this place.
Yep, you probably. Well, let's see how many people we got around us. We got a pretty. I got some people.
Yeah, but do you want to see?
Yeah, they are having a dance party on your body. I'm waiting for them to throw siege.
That does happen a lot. I've had many an arrow cart built on my corpse.
That's when you know you've reached stardom. When they're willing to risk a arrow cart. Arrow carts are amazing. To risk an arrow cart on your body, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, I think it's time. Let's spin around, make sure that. Oh look.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be the ninjas. Oh, we got that ninja res. All right. Now what we're gonna do is run north from here as they run.
Yeah, it looks like they...
Yeah, that's good. That's real good. Yeah, run! Just remember, whatever you do, don't stop. Oh, no, you stopped. That's it.
No, it's good.
You're good. Just keep running. No big deal. Other way, to the right. North. Yes.
I don't even know if I have
It'll be all right.
the team with me.
Doesn't matter. Just keep running. So one of the questions on the stream right now is, what is your daily routine in testing stuff?
It'll depend on what we're working on for that period of time. Typically, daily things that I do will include checking our exploits mailbox, checking out the forums, working on any test plans for content that we're planning to release in the near future, usually a ton of meetings. I pretty regularly will meet with our dedicated player base and discuss, upcoming design on stuff if I can't physically show them the content yet. Always looking to get feedback from them. That's usually a day-to-day reproing exploits, verifying bug fixes, of course, things like that.
You don't need to
Or
verify
usually,
bug fixes.
this is a terrible mistake.
This is a bad idea. This is where you run the other way and you just keep...
Let's just back away.
These are the dummies you use to let yourself get away, you see. That's the way you gotta run. You're like,
Well,
oh, yeah, you stay here, I'll be right back.
So
I'm
much.
gonna get some cookies. And you just stay here and use your...
Speaking of that,
are those really cookies?
no, it's pie, but
It looked like
it's
gonna
a
go with
dessert.
I'm gonna go with it was a cookie. Like, Chris is using the art of stealth to get away.
Excellent.
I like that. No one will ever suspect the ram.
No.
I love everybody. Yes.
That's good.
Luckily, they will never figure out. Okay, this is good. Looks like
Well,
everything.
let's figure out. So that's probably a no-go.
Well, you got a pretty good support. You got a pretty good force now. I think you could take them.
All right.
You can go back in
Well,
there. Now, by
worst
that I
comes to
mean
worst.
you go in, wait for them to fight, and then you just run. If things get hit, if things get good, you come back.
The old bait and switch.
The old bait and switch. Here we go. Here we go. This is the bait and switch. So that guy is totally not baiting the rest of our team in
Certainly not.
up around this corner
He's obviously by himself.
by himself.
Yeah.
Obviously. See, look, these two guys.
Oh, they're just out of position.
Okay, maybe they are. Oh man, it's a thief.
Oh,
Oh no. So this is where you kill this thief and then you run away.
and
Okay, good. You
Call
got it. That's
victory.
it. That was it. That's what we wanted. We got what we wanted.
yep.
One and done. One and done. Okay, good. Now hopefully they're good. There you go. Just keep on.
Running
Yeah,
away.
just keep on running away. Looks real good. This is. Yep. Yeah, that's it. One person. It's 1 for 1. Somebody has to stay and take it. Somebody's got to
Sure.
take the death. Who's going to take the death?
Oh, it looks like we got.
Okay,
him from
good.
both
Yeah,
sides.
even better. They're going to sandwich. Okay, so this is where we watch them fight each other, unless they're the same group. No, they're totally different. All right. Okay, they're going back the other way. Okay, fight these guys. We got these guys. Those guys are.
Yeah.
It's cool. Just throwing out some siege. You got this. Oh yeah, that's all free. That was a small group. Small group. Another question on the stream while we mop up these couple guys is: are there any unique challenges specific to testing world-over-world combat? Or I'm sorry, content. Sorry.
Definitely. There are, so many different objectives and 3 worlds always fighting over these objectives. So there's a lot of potential for things to get weird, and we always have to verify that each team can control something, assault events, defend events. We need to verify that if green team owns this objective and red team comes and contests that objective, that
Nice try.
the events will,
Let's clean them up.
that it behaves as intended and nothing breaks during that process. A good example of this recently on the Borderlands, there was an issue where if a team had captured one of the capture points, I don't know why I'm running towards those guys. If let's say red team captured 3 points and achieved the buff, those points would no longer need to be held, so they would return to neutral. However, if the red team attempted to capture those again, there was some strange behavior with the UI where it wouldn't reflect that to the other teams. So for a while on live, and we'll have a fix out for that. This is not looking good for us. We'll have a fix out for that probably, I think, in our next couple patches that will address this issue, but it is an example of how complicated things can be when there's 3 different teams that could potentially be owning or defending, contesting, what have you, on all these various objectives. So that can make it pretty tricky to test, as well as all the levels to the objective. So as I mentioned earlier, you can upgrade your keeps and your towers, and that provides a whole nother layer of content that needs to be verified. So
I think the big thing here to take away from is that a lot of times when you build, let's say, PvE content, you build it for one team, right? You play it for the player team, and there's enemies, and there's player allies that are NPCs and whatnot, all those things. But the one thing you don't have to worry about is that there's 3 different teams, right?
Yeah.
PvP only has 2 teams. So PvP has the red and blue team, and you can always make enemies of each other. But when you have 3 different teams, that's when things actually start to get a little tricky, especially when they're trying to accomplish the same thing, right? Like one of the big things when I came on the team as QA, it was wrapping my mind around not just testing one event, but always testing 3 of the same events, always testing 3 of the same defend events, always testing for every objective, all 3 teams.
the work is tripled.
The work is tripled. The work is straight up tripled. And then becoming a designer is the exact same thing. When you create something, you have to create 3 of them because you have to create it for all 3 teams, and you have to make it rewarding for all 3 teams. So definitely for testing, it's always very unique in World v World because there's just 3 different teams. There's 3 different scenarios that always need to be tested, not just for, not just for a single team or 2 teams, but it's always 3 teams. And then also, if you're balancing things, you're also the balance for not just 5 players or not just 10 players or a couple. It's against 300 players. One of the big things when we were making the WvW abilities was like, what if one person had this? That's cool. What if 5 people had this? It might be a little overpowered. What if 100 people have this? It's like, well, then it's outright broken. So making sure you balance accordingly is very, very important. That guy was a champ. He just jumped over the wall. He was just like, you know what? I got this. I'm sure he's dead. He's
Wow.
Speaking
At
of
least
that,
he went out like a badass.
he went out like a champion.
Yeah.
He jumped out there and he's like, for the Shiverpeaks. He just jumped out and, well, it's the last we ever saw him. But yeah, I hope that answers the question. Is that being able to look at a single thing, a single event is in PvE is obviously it's much different in World of Warcraft. It's just 3. It's always pairs of 3, and always when balancing, it's always not just 5, not just 10, but hundreds on hundreds on hundreds.
Exactly. The large numbers in World versus World also make testing and as you're saying, designing content, that much more complicated because you need to definitely take into account, oh, this will be cool with, as you said, 5 people having it, but what about 100?
Yeah. The same thing I think as well as when you're testing content and you say 100 people using it on another 100 people, using it on another 100 people. One of the big things is obviously performance. We always have to take performance into account. Whenever we're creating anything, we have to take performance into account. Looks like you guys are about to smash them from the side and from the front, so it looks like these guys are probably going to run, unless those guys are getting chased, which they are.
Oh boy.
Okay, well, this is
not looking good.
Not looking good for our heroes. Oh my goodness, we got 3. This is essentially the Megazord fights right now. We've created the Megazord fight.
Yeah.
That's fine though. I mean, for us in World v World, it's fun to see like big fights like this. This is the point of World v World, right? It's always have these big super fights. But I think we've kind of inspired a little too much on this one. We may have to double back on us. I love how they're not even fighting each other. They're just like, no, we must kill the arena devs. Ally with me.
It is essentially a target.
That's pretty much what the red tag means. It's just a big target for us.
Yeah, for sure.
But all right, guys, I think that I'm gonna start wrapping it up. I mean, obviously, it looks like we had a lot of fun. You died a lot.
I died several times. Yes.
But you died like a boss.
That is a lot.
That's it is quite a few times. But that's okay.
In my defense, I was answering questions.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was it. That was the reason. It's just it was me distracting you.
Yeah.
I understand.
As usual.
But all right, guys. So I wanted to say thanks for everybody for showing up and playing with us. Thanks, Jessica, obviously coming out and doing the stream, as well as on Monday we got a live stream at 12 p.m. PDT. Devs will be playing through the part of the new path in Twilight Arbor dungeon, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. I actually am really excited about that. As well as today at 2 o'clock, MLG is holding a Guild Wars 2 PvP PvP stream. So you guys could check that out on MLG.tv, as well as just going to MLG, MajorLeagueGaming.com to check out all the other stuff they got going on. But 2 o'clock, Guild Wars 2, it's going to be a lot of fun. And who knows, maybe you'll see me later on the day doing some stuff on there. But anything else you want to say to people on EU or in general?
Yeah, well, the team regularly feels the WvW, and I think we've been playing on European shards a little bit more because, as you can imagine, there aren't a ton of devs that are based on European shards. So we try to spread out and play as broadly as we can. So we typically do that on Thursdays, so keep your eyes peeled for our tags, and you can play with us or try to destroy us and build siege on us.
I think one of the big things for that too is that we may not be able to speak all the languages in EU, but
sure.
But one thing we do speak is killing.
One's universal.
Is
yes.
killing and dying. So
sure.
We'll be out there. We'll have some fun with you guys. Obviously, we do fill the WvWs on Thursday, like she said. We do. We go to EU, we go to NA, we jump around. We have a lot of fun. But I think that's about it for us today. Again, appreciate everybody coming out. Thanks, Jessica, for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks for joining me and distracting me.
Of course, anytime, Jessica. She can't wait to show you the content I made. I promise it won't be bad. Not this time. Other content, maybe. Not this time. All right, guys. Have a good one. Go to your... Nope, not that one. That's the one.
That's the one.